It is Wednesday, the 19th of November. It's now 5:30 in the Board of Directors of Williamson County Travis Municipal Utility District Number 1, and all interested persons. We are ready to start. Roll call.
Carol Morrow.
Beth Jones?
Chris Rocco.
Okay, perfect. I'm going to stand up and do the Pledge of Allegiance first.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Now we'll take a moment of silence. Okay. I know that we have a guest in the room. We're going to go through public comments first. And
No problem.
Yeah.
I'm here as long as you need.
Perfect. Okay, first person up is Tina Flores, and she is a resident.
Tonight's agenda includes a resolution about so-called ultra-virus acts, something that without question originated with Director who continues to play lawyer on the taxpayer's dime. For anyone unfamiliar with ultravirus, in Latin, ultravirus is Latin for beyond the powers. In the context of a MUD, it means a director acting outside the authority granted by law. Pretty simple. What's remarkable is that this board seems to believe the term applies only when it's politically convenient. The truth is this. Ultravirus acts have occurred at every meeting since November 2024, and not subtle ones. Let me offer just a few examples. First, adding David Flores to the vengeance and retribution lawsuit outside a public meeting with no agenda posting and no board vote. That is an ultra-virus act, plain and simple. Second, purchasing meals that were taken home to families, paid for with taxpayer funds. That is not an authorized district expense, that is an ultra-virus. Third, harassing residents with violation notices about items not contained in deeds. You cannot enforce what doesn't legally exist, yet you did, repeatedly, ultra-virus. And let's be clear, none of you have the personal authority to obligate this district financially. That power rests with the board as a whole acting lawfully in public with proper posting and proper votes. Every example I just gave involves money, spent, threatened, or misused without lawful or board authority. So if this board wants to talk about ultra-virus acts, fine, but do it honestly. And Cole, I will look to you to ensure that this board complies with the resolutions and the law. Because from where the taxpayers sit, this resolution is less about legality and more about theatrics. In reality, it's nothing more than the pot calling the kettle ultra-virus.
Linda, resident.
Calling out corruption. Last month, Hanoia Villa tied himself in knots trying to defend his retribution lawsuit, proudly announcing that it is still alive and active in Williamson County. And that's true. But what's also true, and far more serious, is that he and his fellow plaintiffs, Beth, Chris, and Carol, have wandered directly into the territory of Texas Penal Code 3902, abuse of official capacity. That statute prohibits public servants from misusing government property, services, personnel, or anything of value to obtain a personal benefit. That's grift, Carol.
That's grift. And that is exactly what this board has been doing. This board has used public funds to enrich friends, pursue personal vendettas, and target political opponents, all while pretending it's district business. Now, astonishingly, you're attempting to bury the district in additional bond debt so that you can redirect the $2.4 million collected in taxes toward your own self-serving interests under the guise of infrastructure needs. That's what the taxes you have to operate with are intended to cover. This isn't governance, this is corruption dressed up as public service, and I will not be quiet about it. Recently, I came across a Buddhist proverb that settled into my mind like a calm warning. 3 things will always rise: the sun, the moon, and the truth. And the truth, no matter how long it takes, no matter how many lies or power plays try to smother it, always rises. When it does, it exposes everything, the misuse, the deceit, the rot beneath the surface. And let me assure you, the moment is coming. Visit meducation.org for the truth and all of the details.
Is it Terry? Yes. Terry Sharp? Sorry. You're good, you're good.
Okay. So I'm here in regards to the tennis courts and the pickleball courts. After I just heard, I kind of feel silly being up here. However, I am one of many, many, many tennis players that come out here to play. And we have used the Old Mill courts and the El Salida courts for many years. And last year, or October 2023, there was an issue with the pickleball courts and the tennis courts and them colliding and everybody having peace about that. It was decided at that meeting that fairness to both pickleball and tennis, because there's such a wide group of people that play both, would be that these courts would be designated for the pickleball courts and would be lined for that, and that the Anderson Mill West courts would stay the same for tennis and not be marked. Well, unfortunately, both courts have been now repainted with pickleball lines. It's an issue because now we can't use the tennis courts to have any kind of recreation play and everything else. It causes confusion. The overlapping lines interfere with the play, concentration, the fairness, and most importantly, safety. Proper tennis courts and facilities require a distinct markings, and the mixed use of lines do not meet that standard. This decision to paint the courts is also a financial concern because a lot of tennis players aren't just here in the mud, but they pay to come and use these courts. So now the revenue that you are getting to have tennis players play on one course and pickleball players on the other, they're not going to do it because they can't use them. So I'm asking for just a clear, reasonable action request, which was decided last year, and that is to repaint the Anderson Mill West courts and remove those pickleball lines as they were originally supposed to do.
Say that last sentence, I'm going to lie you that last sentence.
October of 2023, those are supposed to be designated for tennis courts.
Right.
And they're not. Now they're pickleball courts and we can't use them.
Okay, thank you.
Right. Oh, shoot. You have a petition in front of you, too.
Yes,
That
I'm
has
looking.
75.
It's right here.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Is it Robert
Yes.
Halper?
Yes.
Thank you.
And I've been in the mud for 30 years. So I'm here to talk about the increase in fire, the monthly fire charge. It went up like 25% from one month to the other. It's ludicrous. I'm on a fixed income. There's no way that mine went up. I think 2.8 and what? Social Security's coming up. You guys went up 30%. So, there's a few things I see that the fire chief's here. One, I want to see what I'm getting, or I want to see what increase in services I'm getting for the 25%, right? And I came in the other day and they explained that we hadn't been billed for all the cost increases hadn't been passed for I don't know how long. But apparently that we had enough money in our mud to pay it because nobody noticed it before. Whoever just recently noticed it, right? So I guess these people are talking about we're spending money on other things. Let's pay it off on the on the fire, increase in fire. And then also it's a fixed cost per house. Why is that? Why isn't it by square footage? Why isn't it by the taxes? Why isn't it billed at a different rate? And I'd like to know for those services that I get for that, or we all get for that money, what does that include? In 30 years, I've never called the fire department, right? Never have. Or the police department, or the sheriff. But I know, it's a needed service. Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that it's a needed service. But is there an increase? And then do we get billed if we do need them? So if they come out and help put out a fire in my house, do I get a bill with that? you know, and stuff like that.
Visit.
Right.
And I hope you stay, he's gonna talk.
Right, no, that's
Answer all your questions.
right. That'll be good, because that's what I wanna know, you know, stuff like that.
Why
You're not the only one.
But it's crazy. You know, I'm just going, it's ludicrous that it was even allowed to be done with no notice.
Well, you got your notice when we got our notice.
Well, but that's wrong, and so it should be taken away
I'm sorry.
until it's graduated.
The notice came during the last boards, when they were in office.
All I know is that I pay this 1 month and this the next month, and it's different.
Let's let him, we'll let him
Thank you.
Okay, all right.
It's a call.
Is that everybody on the list?
Yes, it is.
Were
I
there
just
any
want
other
to make
members
sure
who-
that it's okay with everybody so that we can keep moving on, keep the meeting going. If you guys are both okay, can we make a quick little vote that it's okay that I move fire department up so I can
Yeah,
keep you
70,
going?
yes,
All in favor?
yes.
Thank you. Okay, welcome, come on up.
That's,
Thank y'all for having me.
that's seven
Thank
B.
you. Yes, 7B's moved up.
Move to the top.
Down.
And please, don't try to keep turning around and talk to us, just, you pick a spot and
We'll
you wanna talk to
listen.
the
Move your
residents.
spot if you want to move to the side over there.
We'll listen.
Yeah, we'll just listen. Thank you.
If y'all don't mind, I'll sort of maybe just get right up
That's a
here
great
where
idea.
everyone can see me and
That's a great idea.
I'm not my back to anyone.
Welcome, by the way.
Thank you very much for having me. So my name's James Malliner. I'm the fire chief here in Cedar Park, Texas. I started in Cedar Park almost 30 years ago, so I've been here almost as long as you've been in the district. I started January 2nd of '96, so I'm a month and a half away from my 30th anniversary. It's my 37th year in the fire service. You ask what you get from the Cedar Park Fire Department. What you get is a very professional department that can do a good job. And I'm going to tell you 2 reasons why I can prove that we're a professional department that does a good job. Insurance Services Organization grades every fire department in the nation from a 1 to a 10. A 1 being the best, a 10 being the worst. They grade it 10% on your dispatch center, 40% on your water supply, and 50% on your fire department. Do we have the right equipment, the right things to do our job? We are an ISO Class 1 and have been since 2009. So for 16 years, we've been an ISO 1 class department. When I made chief in 2012, I said, I want to take this a step further. And there's a thing called International Fire Accreditation. And in that accreditation, there's 300 objectives in a strategic assessment manual that you have to say what you're doing currently and how you're always going to maintain and do better. You also have to run standards of cover. So that is running data to make sure that you're sending the right number of units to the right types of calls in the right amount of time. And then lastly, you have to have a strategic plan. We have been an internationally accredited fire department since 2014. 2 years after I made chief, I got accreditation. We've kept it for the last 15 years. When we got both of those, we were only one of 15 fire departments in the entire United States that have both of those certifications. So this isn't me saying we're doing the right job. This is an international accreditation group coming in and grading us, and this is the Insurance Services Organization coming in and grading us. So you do have a very good fire department. I also understand we're not a cheap fire department. I mean, I
Well, that's what I'm saying,
understand
you
that 100%.
know, that comes with a cost. You know, if my house isn't, say you're a level 2 or level 3, would it cost less? I mean, what is the cost benefit
Well,
of
your
being
insurance
in-
could go up, so
Well,
then it means
my
my
insurance
cost
never
might
even
go
asked me
down.
what level fire department. They just want to know how close I am to the fire department.
That's all in the data. That's all the data that they look at. I'll tell you, my agent is a State Farm agent.
I got a
run
State
Sell
Farm myself.
They have a very in-depth criteria and database that they look at, and it is going to be how close you are to a fire station, how close you are to a fire hydrant. It's going to be the losses in this zip code or in this area over the last history of X amount of years. They look at all that. So my understanding is if y'all would want to go to someone cheaper, you'd have to find a different fire department, but they're going to come from 15 and 20 miles away. They're not going to save your house as quick. They're not going to be able to get there as quick when you have a medical emergency. Let me go through a couple things of what we've done to improve and how it's helping y'all in this district specifically.
And the other thing that I'd be interested in is what you're doing to try and control your costs or cut costs.
Understand. So a couple new initiatives that we've done in Cedar Park, And this helps control costs. It did raise costs, but it didn't raise it as much as it could. Station 2, right here on Cypress Creek Road across from ACC, that covers your district and the rest of the city around here, was exploding with call volume. A lot of the reason that explosion was all the senior centers, both in y'all's district and in the city. Currently in the city and ETJ combined, we have 18 senior centers. Now, I'm not bashing senior centers. My parents lived in one of them and I lived in one in y'all's district. Okay? But those 18 senior centers are currently 22% of all medical calls in the city. 1 out of every 5 calls are at those senior centers. And what I was having to do for a long period of time is Station 2 would be over here on a call, and I'd be sending Station 1 and Station 3, I'd be sending multiple units to this district, and those second and third calls happening were creating long response times and a lot of issues with me over time for maintenance, fuel costs, everything else. So we put a pickup truck with a lieutenant and a firefighter next to that ladder truck that's at Station 2. Now we can handle 2 medical calls at the same time out of the same station, and one of them we only have to send a pickup truck versus a ladder truck that gets 3 miles to the gallon and has tire wear that's a lot more. So what we're doing is we're serving the residents in this part of both the city and the ETJ with 2 different fire units out of that station, and I am now hitting 96% of all calls in this district, Station 2's district, without having to bring another unit in from another station from farther away.
So are those people in each of those rooms paying the same rate we are?
So I don't.
Because, I mean, if they're 22% of what's being used, right, and you're adding resources for that, how are they being, I mean, how is this being equitably billed? So like if I look in there and look, I sit in an apartment and I need fire service or I need medical service. Am I getting charged a monthly fee?
I don't know how your MUD bills
the
enclave versus bills a home in your MUD district, but I would assume it's all of value, and that people with higher values pay more than people with lower values. Is that correct? I don't know y'all's formula. I know we give you a formula as far as the city finance department of what as a district you owe the city for services, but I don't know how they do take that cost and then spread it out amongst the members of the MUD.
Yeah, no, I get that. I mean, mine is to understand, you know, what I'm getting for the money, right?
Right.
Then these guys we can discuss
Yeah,
how we're betting up, yeah.
Right.
Okay, thank you.
What else we did, that medical unit started responding in August of 22. In March of 22, so just a few months before that, we actually went live with what we call Auto Aid. So I was a group of other fire chiefs led an organization where every fire department in Travis County, Round Rock, Georgetown, Leander, and Cedar Park have dropped boundaries. So you may not even get a Cedar Park fire truck at your house or at your place of business. You're going to get the closest unit that has the right equipment to take care of you. So that is another thing we've done to lower response times and get someone to you quickly. I'm proud that 16 fire departments in the 2 counties do that for fire response, and 19 of them do it for medical response. So these are 2 initiatives that we've taken on and really improved the service that we've been able to give to everybody. I can talk about my budget. My budget this year for the Cedar Park Fire Department is $16,928,000 and change. I have 2 ESDs and 3 MUDs that I cover. So I cover the majority of the city's ETJ and everyone in the city. Those 5 contract areas, so the areas of the ETJ for the MUDs and ESDs pay $2.33 million. The residents of Cedar Park pay $14.59 million. That equates to the MUDs paying 13% of my budget and the city paying 86% of the budget. When you look at population, the population of the ETJ, so all those MUDs and ESDs, is 19,310 people. The population of the city is 84,000. So we're paying as citizens the citizens are 81% of my district, but they're paying 86% of all costs of the fire department. So a member of a house in the city or business in the city is paying more per capita than if someone in the MUD or in the ESD is.
Where does that percent of calls though going to the city versus the ETJ?
I brought the call volume just for this MUD. I didn't know to bring it for the entire ETJ, so I would have to get back to y'all on that.
I understand what you're telling me, but if you respond to more to the city of Cedar Park, I expect them to pay more than the ETJs.
Well, unfortunately, we're just another form of insurance. Like, I've had people ask me, well, why don't you just bill for service? You asked about billing. You can afford it if I did bill for service. We run 9,000 calls, and I have a $17 million budget. Divide that out, the one person that needs the fire department can't pay that. Y'all are paying to have a fire department here in case we're needed. And that's what everyone pays for, just like you paid to have cops around in case they're needed. I can't look at it on a per call basis. I will tell you, under our agreement with the city council, we do send a bill to your insurance company for fires and for hazmats and for car accidents. That is never billed to the individual property owner. We accept what the insurance pays us and write the rest off. We do not bill for any medical response. We do all that without billing. When we started billing, we billed for everything, including medical response, and it really didn't justify itself. So you may see a bill on your insurance bill if they send you a summary of things they paid out, but that bill never goes to the individual property owner. When you're looking at the budget of the MUD, over the last 5 years, it has gone up 35%. When you look at the fire department budget over the same time frame, it's gone up 40%. So we're not increasing costs any more to a MUD or an ESD than we are to the residents of Cedar Park. And some of the reasons for that is the additional medical squad, extra staffing, and we did a 5-year strategic plan that showed we were 17 personnel behind today. We need to hire 17 more people right now. We're only going to hire 3 or 4 a year for the next 5 years. And that's just, I'm going to be very honest with you, our costs are not going to go down. Our costs are going to continue to go up. What happens with the ESDs and the MUDs is they look at what was fed the prior year. So y'all's increases are always a year after the city already had to pay them. So we're not billing in advance. We can't bill in advance. We have to know what our expenditures are, and we have to bill that at that time.
Why are you adding people if you're in ISO level 1 already? You're already at the top and stuff like that. It makes no sense that you need more people.
It does make sense because I don't have enough people to cover when people are sick and injured. I don't have the medical squad. The next medical squad I'm putting on is in Station 5's district because they have 6 of the senior centers, where this area has 8 of the senior centers. They ran 600 calls in the last 90 days. And what I'm not going to do is run my people day and night silly, and then they get stressed out. They're tired when they're responding. They have an accident that God forbid they hit someone else. So I have to look at the data, and I have to continue to add staffing to keep the response safe, not only for the residents, but also for my staff.
So are there metrics so we can go look at to see the trends of this stuff? You know, so, I mean, is there somewhere where I can go, because I went out to the Cedar Park Fire Department website, right? Mm-hmm. You're trying to see, okay, what are the trends going like? You know, at the same time about having people, I see if we're adding houses, but if they're paying money and.
So what you can look for, we do quarterly reporting. Okay, this report is the entire city and ETJ combined. It's not broken out into individual groups. But every quarter we put up a report. There's a fire report, there's a medical report, there's a car accident report, and there's a fire prevention report. So we put out 4 of these. We also put some stuff out on social media. We are very open with our data.
No, I'm not saying that. I just started looking for the, because like I said, the price.
It is on the fire department website.
Thank you.
So the next couple slides that y'all have is actually the data for the last quarter here in the MUD. Y'all are averaging about 465 calls per year in the MUD. Some years bigger, larger than others. Currently, through 3 quarters, you're at 437, so I expect you to surpass that average this year, so you have 3 months left in the year. The majority of those calls, 66% are medical calls, 20% are service calls. That's we go out and help a resident whose smoke detectors are going off. We go and help someone who's fallen and can't get up, and they're not injured. That's a service call. If they're injured, it'd be a medical call. Luckily for y'all, your fires are very low. Your structure fires are 0.5%. Your other fires are 0.25%. So y'all are in a very safe area, and to date, you haven't had a lot of call volume for high level calls or calls that do a lot of damage.
Are you okay if I ask that again? So 66 medical, half for fires, %.
Yeah.
What was the middle one?
Service calls was 20.61, medicals was 66,
Thank you.
And there's a graph on
There's the graph.
one of the pages, and it lists every call type and what the percentage is.
Thank you.
So with the fires will be the most expensive calls.
Yeah, because on a structure fire for a house, I'm gonna send 4 engines, 2 ladders, a rescue truck, and 2 battalion chiefs. So we can safely command and take care of, one will be operations, the other will be a safety officer, the 2 chiefs, and then we have the 7 large trucks to do all the work. When we talk about first in attack line, backup line to keep them safe, search team, inside truck, outside truck, 5 of those 7 units are assigned immediately when they get there. The other 2 are in reserve in case anything happens or the fire takes a while. We can pull someone out and put someone in. That's when we start our rehab and our exchange process.
Right.
And if we need more people, we'll bring more in.
Okay.
Chief,
Yes, sir.
somebody mentioned that the 26% increase was very large.
Mm-hmm.
And what drove that? Was the previous charges, was it not, you didn't have staff? Why was this huge increase?
I think it's just a fact of doing business. When you look at, I actually think I said for what I showed for y'all, it's a 35% increase over 5 years, but the fire department budget went up 40% over the same time period. Each one of those years, I started here in '96. There were less than 10 fire employees. Now I have a staff of 102 and a half. I have a half an IT person that I have to pay for at the city. So when you're talking about 100 people pay raises every year, you're talking about adding more equipment, you're talking about adding more like SWAT 5, SWAT 2. We are not even in the top, we're about the 5th highest paid in our county right now. We're not highest paid at all, and when you look in the region, we drop even lower. So I think we offer fair salaries for a great department to work for, but we're not the most expensive. There's a lot of people that pay more than I do. There's a lot of people that cost more than I do. Our newest station, Station 5, where the house was built in 2019, the debt's paid pretty far down. Almost every other station we have, the debt's paid off. And the city does very good job with their finances. We actually put 1/10 of every fire truck aside each budget year, 1/7 of every command vehicle aside. So when it comes to get new apparatus, we pay cash for it. We don't have to go back for more debt and raise our debt. So we are doing everything we can to keep costs low, but the reality is when I started as a firefighter 30 years ago, I was making $18,000 a year. A rookie firefighter starting today makes $73,000 a year, and we're the fourth highest paid right now in our county, only looking at cities. When you look at Emergency Services District, we're like the 6th highest paid. So it isn't that we're overpaying, it's the cost of doing business.
Does it require that high a raise every year to keep firefighters?
If you want to keep them, it sure does. Everyone has a step plan. It's part of the state civil service, and we voted in civil service in our community. And for the first 16 years, they get a pay raise every year. After 16 years, they get no pay raises unless there's a cost of living done.
And who's that by? Who decides that?
It's decided through contract negotiations with the Fire Association in the city of Cedar Park. So they meet every 2 or 3 years. Currently, we're in the first year of a 2-year contract. The last 3 contracts before that have been 3-year contracts, and that's negotiated.
Okay. Is there any way you can talk about the algorithm if we were to go to somebody like Jollyville or Valente? Do you happen to know what their ISO ratings are? I was told that it's done by only.
It depends upon the insurance company that you utilize. So I had a very detailed conversation with my State Farm agent to prepare for this meeting, and they said they have a ton of criteria, and just some of it is losses in that area, some of it is how far you're from fire station. Here's the biggest thing, and I'm not trying to threaten anyone, I'm not trying to, if you choose to go with someone else, that's y'all's choice, but I tell you, we're not going to respond in their place. And anyone else you choose to go with is going to drive by my units to get here. You're going to ask for longer response times for both medical calls and fires. That means every minute a fire doubles in size. Every minute we're not here within 6 minutes and 30 seconds. You usually don't survive a heart attack. These are standard strokes. You want a fast, efficient, safe response. You're not going to get that from anyone else besides Cedar Park. I have 2 fire units right around the corner on Lakeline. No one else is within miles of here. Jollyville's only station is on the other side of 183 on Anderson Mill. they're gonna be coming from, I don't know what, that's 7-8 miles away, when I'm coming from right around the corner, you know, and they're coming through traffic.
You're talking
Through-
10 to
through,
15 minutes after
You know,
every day.
so I don't, as I can tell you, in my personal opinion, you're not gonna get better service, you're gonna get longer response times, and in the long run, you're gonna get less life saves and more fire damage. That's my personal experience with 37 years of experience. And over 25 of that as a chief officer.
But again, I'm not getting a feeling that there's a lot of being, I mean, I'm not disagreeing with the service, I'm not disagreeing with as good as you guys are and stuff like that, it has nothing to do with it. I think strictly a cost, right? And I was in industry for 40 years, right? And everything has a cost, right? And we used to ask the same question to ourselves. We get ISO certified. What's it costing us versus what's the benefit of what we're getting back from it, right? And that's what you gotta do, you know, what's the benefit for me? I mean, I understand that if you were a class 2 or class 3, what would that cost, or would it reduce the rate that it's increasing, right? And I don't know that. And then when you talk about 100 people, is that just total, the organization, 100 people? Or is that just staff you got working minus the firefighters and the others?
So that's my total staff from me on down to the rookie with all my civilians.
Okay, that's everybody, that's
the entire.
That's the
fire
city,
department.
okay, all right, thank you.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay,
We operate 6 crews plus a battalion, so we're operating 7 fire apparatus out of 5 fire stations, 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. I'm actually understaffed, and that's what I told you, on the strategic plan, I still need to hire 3 more per year for the next 4 years, plus 1 more civilian. So I'm still 13 people behind before I am where an outside organization that did a strategic plan study says I need to be today. But the reality is, we all know it, I can't afford to get 70 people at once. I can't, you know, so we're doing it as fairly as we can, and we're adding it over time. You know, the city is a very lean run city. Fire department's a very lean run fire department. We don't have quotas of number of people per thousand like some people do. We use data to show that we have these needs. So we have to prove it through data, we have to prove it through our response times, have to prove it through our number of responses. And the city council just doesn't throw out money to throw out money. Everything that we get is because it's been a proven need.
can I thank you for coming? I wish we could have you talked all night, because I know people have tons of
Well,
questions.
is there any other questions? I don't.
Yeah,
I don't want to cut the,
Well, we just were asked to, so.
oh, okay.
And I'm willing to come back to another meeting. You know, I know y'all haven't asked me out in a while, but if there's something else that you need me to come back on and speak on.
Let us talk with our residents, and I'll get back with you.
I will tell you that when we had a fire on London, you guys were fantastic, and it was great to see how fast Round Rock, Pflugerville, Austin, all those fire trucks came out and helped you. I mean, and
The systems
it's a
work
lot
that
of
we have in
teamwork.
place. And unfortunately, I'll say it real quick and then I'll leave because I know you said you're busy. Right after we went live with this auto aid unit is when we had that big fire at Farmer Lane in 23. Do y'all remember that? It was 37 acres. It threatened 13 apartment buildings and 107 condos in August of 23. We had 54 fire trucks in Cedar Park that night because of that auto aid system we put in place. And I was able to respond to every call that was needed in my entire district, city, and ETJ without having any calls, you know, on hold because of this system we put in place. So I didn't want to be the chief that proved it, but about 9 months after we went live with it, I called in 54 fire trucks, and they were all heaters. So
Yeah, and you're so quick, so I just want to thank you for what you do for this neighborhood.
you're welcome.
Chief, thank you.
You're welcome.
Appreciate
it.
And I don't take any of this personally.
Oh, no, and it's just
You know,
like I say, it's a business, and all my interactions, which have been none, like I say, but when I see them, they're friendly, and I have no problem paying for, you know, good service. I just
Yeah.
want to understand what it's going to, how we're controlling the cost, and is it, like I said. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Y'all have a great evening.
Yes, thank you again for coming. Okay, the following items are considered. We're on consent agenda items, and we need to make a motion to approve the consent for bookkeeping report.
I'll make a motion, we approve the consent items.
Well, with the exception of, with item
Wait,
4.
you've already talked about that in your meeting, correct?
Yeah, well, it didn't become part of it.
Item number 5 on here.
Yeah, we're taking care of.
Oh, we're not doing 5 yet.
That's.
Yeah, we're not doing that yet.
Okay. It's under the consent agenda list, but I do agree you're making a motion that we approve the bookkeeping, pay the bills. Is that what you're saying, Chris?
Yes.
Okay, I will second that.
So are you approving the consent agenda,
For-
which is the bookkeeping
for-
report in the minutes, or?
4 and 8, yes.
You're separating them out?
Right.
Yes, we are separating them out.
Okay, so 4, approve the bills and invoices.
Okay, all in favor? Okay.
Who seconded that? Sorry.
Carol.
Thank you.
Okay, minutes of the October 15 meeting.
We're not gonna approve that today because Hanoi's not here.
I agree, because from what I read, it's not what
Yeah,
happened
we
at the
have
meeting, so.
questions.
Okay.
It's just deferred.
Defer, okay.
Okay, action items, action agenda items, engineer report.
I'll be speaking, and Jacob's going to be online as well, so if there's any questions, he should be able to answer.
Okay, do you guys have them on? Okay, perfect.
Can you speak
We're
up?
ready.
Okay. The first item is the status on the sanitary sewer cleaning and televising project. We received reports from Ames, and they were insufficient and missing a lot of necessary detail. Westwood has coordinated with Ames, and Ames will be revising and resubmitting their analysis for Westwood's review and approval. Westwood is in the process of finalizing the sanitary sewer system repair cost estimate and exhibit, and will review with the infrastructure committee infrastructure committee when ready. The cost estimate will be included with the bond application that is currently being prepared as well. At last month's board meeting, Westwood recommended that the board approve pay application 1 in the amount of $154,000. There's still $33,000 remaining in the ongoing contract, which is sufficient to ensure that Ames corrects and finalizes the project further contract. So that's kind of where we're at with paying that invoice, that pay application. We have enough bargaining room, essentially. If you don't have any questions, that's for that point, but.
No.
Okay. The next point is the status on the lead and copper rule revisions project. The EPA states that a replacement plan, annual affected residence notification, delivery of point-of-use devices to affected residents, material verification, and increased sampling will be required by November 1st, 2027. The EPA requires that lead service lines will be required to be replaced within 10 years. Infomark sent out the annual notification letter to residents living at addresses with designated unknown service line materials. Westwood is working to obtain the necessary language from the TCQ in regards to obtaining testimony from the plumbing contractor, and will provide that language to Director Rocco when available. At this time, the service line inspection estimated costs, it included, at this time, the service line inspection estimated costs is to be included in the bond application that is being prepared. If the plumbing contractor testimony can be obtained and is sufficient and acceptable to the CQ, then the estimated costs will likely be removed from the bond application. This item will continue to be discussed at the infrastructure committee meeting, and as updates arise, Westwood will update the board. I did get in contact with the TCQ with the lead and copper rule revision division, and essentially they don't have any templates or anything, no required wording, and it's essentially we need to, it's up to our discretion as to how the affidavit will be worded, but that's my update for that.
So no matter what we do or say, they could come back and say that's not enough?
Not necessarily.
No, but they could. Without a template, they could do that. That's why I wanted to get it. Well, that's fine. We'll find out what other people are doing.
Hold on.
Hey, Chris.
Yeah.
One thing that we can do, I mean, Westwood can draft some language, and I'm sure just running it by Cole to see that we work things in a professional and kind of accurate manner, just to get his opinion. Obviously, it's not his expertise or anything, but I mean, we can put something together that we think is sufficient, run it by the plumbing company if they're willing to sign it and agree to that. But we can start there, right? We're not just going to ask like a one sentence thing that says, yes, I remember that there was no lead.
Okay.
But put something together that's professional in a way that, you know, we feel is justified.
Can you run something by
Make sure
TCEQ?
the TCEQ to feel good about it.
Can you run something by TCEQ ahead of time?
We can certainly try that.
Okay.
They were very responsive, so hopefully we can do that.
Okay.
We all just have to remember that this is the first time the TCEQ is going through all of these rule changes as well, right? So they don't have a playbook for everything at the moment.
The next point is the status on the Dagama and Sunchase Park Lift Station Rehabilitations Project. Westwood is nearing final design of this project and will review with the Infrastructure Committee when ready. The cost estimate will be included on the bond application that is currently being prepared. The next point is on the Infrastructure Committee report. Westwood scheduled the Infrastructure Committee meeting on Monday, November 3rd. The meeting minutes are attached. And then the next point is on the sidewalk assessment work order. Westwood has prepared a work order for a district-wide sidewalk assessment and presented it to the board at the March meeting and the September meeting. Westwood awaits direction from the board on this subject, and the work order is also attached to the board packet. So if you have any questions on that, either of those two items.
Yeah, we gotta wait for them all anyway.
Okay. The next point is the preparation of the bond application report. Westwood has begun work on the preparation of the bond application report and will update the board as necessary. Westwood will engage with the district attorney and financial advisor to compile a draft for reviews. The cost summary will continue to be updated for the specific projects noted previously in the report. The next point is update on other matters. For the 2012 Lakeland Oaks CMU wall, Westwood inspected the site on November 6th on the resident side of the CMU wall. Westwood will start conducting inspections twice a year instead of quarterly, as no change has been noted. Our notes on the inspection are attached. And if you'll have any questions on that.
I do have has anybody been able to go out and look at the wall on Andersonville, that the wall that is now gone, has been run into?
We're working on that.
Okay. Okay. Well,
It's part of my report.
okay. All right.
Thanks, Grant.
I have
New
a couple more
business.
items.
Oh, you
You
did?
do have one more?
Yes, just a couple
Sure.
more, sorry.
Go ahead.
There's no update on the tracts of land from DR Horton.
Oh, yeah.
For the Hatchville Station pump replacement, Infomark has sent a tabulation of costs associated with repair to Westwood. Westwood will update the infrastructure committee once this tabulation has been reviewed. And then another item we have is about the CMU wall accident. Westwood was notified by Infomark of an accident that damaged a portion of the district CMU wall on November 10th, 2025. The location is at 2310 McCaw Drive along Anderson Mill Road. Infomark is leading the repair, and Westwood has provided contractor references to Infomark to coordinate the repair of the vault. Westwood can provide additional support if necessary and requested. And then the final item is on GIS utilities request. The district attorney was contacted by True Pulse Communication Solutions on October 22nd, 2025, who was working with AT&T, and they requested utility maps for a particular area of the district. Westwood reviewed the request and provided the applicable utility maps on October 27th, 2025. So that's it.
Thank you.
No action items.
So there are no action items for the engineer's report, but you all can approve the report if you like.
I'll make a motion we approve the engineer report.
I'll second it. All in favor? New business, which is adopt a resolution concerning the ultra fires, but we are going to defer that, as the person that put this on here is not here. And we already did B, so let's go to 8. General Manager's report.
The streetlight survey was conducted here in the district on October 22nd. At that time, all of the lights were working, so we didn't have to submit any requests to DEC for any repairs. The water accountability for October was up, actually at 103%. We believe that was kind of due similar when it was below, just due to timing of meter reads. So we'll keep an eye on that. There were 89 delinquent letters mailed, 32 tags hung, and 9 disconnects. And again, this is all from the October billing cycle. Some notable resident requests. We are researching a couple resident notifications where there's some abnormally high water usage. So we're looking into those, making sure that there aren't any errors in the meter reads or the meter data itself. Along with those, I would ask kind of for the board to authorize the Bills and Invoices Committee that if there are some substantial refunds due to residents, once we confirm these items, if there are errors, if you could authorize the Bills and Invoice Committee to possibly approve Artesian, the bookkeeper, to issue checks as refunds prior to next month's board meeting, if it makes sense. If it's the week before the board meeting, we just hold it for the board meeting. But if it's next week,
How do you want to handle that?
it'd be nice to have that motion.
Well, wouldn't the resident have been billed again by the time you?
Some of these have already been paid.
Oh, okay.
So these are very abnormal,
They're very abnormal.
very abnormal.
Yes.
And so you have been out to look, and you can't find
We're in
anything?
the process of
Okay,
verifying
okay.
everything so that we don't.
Okay, but they're just so out there in left field, they don't make any sense at all.
They either have a severe leak under their home possibly, or there's an error somewhere. So that's what we want to try and determine on our side. And if it is determined that, it's the right meter, it's the right reads, this is the calculations.
Okay, yes.
But if there is an error, we'd like to be able to promptly issue those refunds if possible.
Okay.
I'll make a motion that we allow Infomark to issue refunds for any mistakes that have been made in the reading of, is it a period of time, October bills, or?
It's within the last 2 billing cycles.
Within the last 2 billing cycles.
And there's that I'm aware of, there's like 3, maybe 4 residents.
How many?
3 or 4.
One's here tonight.
Okay.
Okay, yes, I would second that, and I guess with some, do we vote on it first, or do we have discussion? When this occurs, when you find out what the situation is, I would appreciate that you would notify the committee.
Yeah, we'll provide all the documentation and our recommendation for the Bills and Invoice Committee's approval prior to moving forward.
Okay.
Okay, well, I second your motion.
Okay, any other discussion? All in favor?
Under the district notes, AAA Auger was called out for a repair of the men's bathroom at the Lakeline Oaks on October 29th. That was $485.50. There was the accident there off of Anderson Mill that was noted earlier. It was just north of Cashel Wood Drive, there on the right. We've already gone out and put up kind of a orange construction safety fence, just to kind of as a cautionary item. I went by personally to speak with a resident. I believe the home is vacant. There were lots of notices on the door, things like that. But we are getting with contractors. Westwood provided some different contractors and things that had bid on projects and done work in the district. Several of those have already replied that they don't do repairs, so we're going through additional contractors to get bids to be able to provide those to you for next month.
Was Travis County called out to that incident?
Was that?
We don't know yet.
You don't know?
Yeah, we're trying to
Okay.
find the police report on that.
Okay.
Whether it was the county or the city that was called out. Also, there it was reported to Stephanie on Monday of this week that there was a homeless person on the tennis court. Not exactly certain how they gained access to the tennis court without a card, but wouldn't leave when someone's going to play tennis. The resident tried to get them to leave. They wouldn't. Stephanie called the Williamson County Sheriff's Department, but he had already gone before they arrived. So just wanted to mention that. As far as current projects in the district, the repairs at the Anderson West Park for playgrounds, etc., that's still in progress. I know that the parks have been ordered, but I don't believe they've received them. Been able to schedule that for repair yet. The cleaning of lift station number 2 was completed after last month's board meeting on October 28th. And then there's also the Park Pro Tech that also had some different smaller scale repairs there at the park. That is also in progress. Moving on to things for board consideration tonight. The first item is for Mark's professional services agreement addendum that would reduce the services and its charges to the district each month. That's been on the agenda for a few months. So,
Have you been able to talk to everybody that you wanted to talk to?
Meetings were offered. Yes.
Okay. All right.
So, some questions were asked, but not by.
Well, I do know that I talked with the other committee member, and we're about ready to make a decision on that, and it'll probably be at the December meeting.
Okay.
Okay?
All right. There's also 2 quotes from NNC Electric. One of them, the first one is for $6,445, and that is to install GFCI receptacles there at the gazebo at Hendersonville West. And the second one is for $1,165, and this is to replace some solar lights at the mailboxes. But I believe there may be some question as to whether those are MUD assets or HOA or U.S. Postal Service. So I was going to get with Westwood to question whether they can confirm if those are MUD-owned assets or not.
I would like to make an interjection here on that topic. The question at hand, the Valenti Hills HOA met last night, and that was on their agenda.
Okay.
And their proposed preparation for repairing and fixing.
Okay.
So I think that it would be good to talk to them, whatever, but they were planning on that last night. So
Okay.
Yes, Linda, I got your email.
No, I'm saying you are the HOA. So
No, I'm
I-
not. No, I'm not.
Oh, okay.
I'm a resident in Valente
Ah.
Hills. I went to the annual meeting last night, and I heard the report and the discussion of cost, and watched as they displayed what choices they might make and what they might do in fixing those lights last night. Thank you for your letter today.
You're welcome.
It was not very kind. Thank you.
I'm
No, you're not. Okay, go on.
Okay, thank you. Then we were also asked to get competing quotes for holiday lights here in the district. We received 4 quotes, but I would discount 2 of the 4, to be honest, because they didn't quote everything that was requested. They only did partial quotes. So I wouldn't consider the one for RLC, Ready Lawn, or Bright Brothers. Four Seasons.
You're going fast, I'm trying to look.
Sorry.
Oh, sorry.
That's okay.
Four Seasons Landscape and also Texas Light Crew. They both quoted everything that was requested.
And then, do you have the person that did it last year?
It was Four Seasons Landscape. They did it last year.
And how much cheaper are they willing to do it this year, since we put what we put in?
Their quote is for $6,340.
So $4,000 cheaper? Yeah.
And then Texas Light Crew is $9,515. The one note between the 2 quotes, they both quoted identical locations and lighting. The difference being that Four Seasons is willing to use the lights they now have in possession that they put up and took down last year. Texas Light Crew will not touch customer-owned lights due to liability and warranty.
Then it tells you which way we need to
So
go.
there's a brand new lights, and that's why it's more expensive.
Okay, then let's go back to who we did last year, unless you guys.
No, do we need a motion to do that, Cole?
You do.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, I'll make a
And-
motion that can you go back to their name, what his name
Four
is?
Seasons.
Do you want a motion for each individual, or do you want to
No.
wrap them all into one? Because there's also the M&C for the GFCI receptacles there at the gazebo.
Or do you want to review that because they also want to put lights in the ceiling?
We don't want to put, do y'all want to put lights in the ceiling? At the
talking about
gazebo here on Old Mill.
Where was that, whose idea was that? I mean, what was that about?
We put it on about 2 meetings ago.
Okay.
I don't know if we want to waste the money on that.
Just put some.
I mean, it's closed at dark, so,
It's just the lighting, to put some lights there, do you want
no, I don't want to do it.
today?
Okay, so we're not going to address that one.
Okay.
Put it on the meeting agenda for next month again.
Okay. Other than the lighting 2 quotes, there is one third one in the packet. It's for NRW Consulting. You might recall discussions in the last 1 or 2 meetings. We've seen water in some of the outfalls at some of the ponds when it hasn't rained. We've kind of done a lot of inspections of pulling up storm manholes, trying to isolate and figure out where the water is coming from because it does have a chlorine residual, so it is fresh water coming from somewhere. We're not able to, because of the distance between the storm manholes, our infrastructure operators are not able to isolate it down to a small enough area that we say, oh yes, we believe a leak is right here, we need to dig and excavate right here. Oh no, it wasn't here, that's $6,000 gone. So this quote is for $2,950. NRW, they're a leak detection company.
Right.
This is all they do.
But now, where is this location that you're talking about again? I missed that.
It's 2 different outfalls where we have water visible that's constant, like, there's algae growing, so it's constant flow.
Okay. Is there one of those that you told me the other day was near the school? Is that?
Correct.
Okay, and did you trace any of that back to the school or have you?
That's what I was saying. We can't isolate where it's coming from
Okay.
just by looking in stormwater drains and manholes.
Okay, but
But this is being isolated on specific areas, not gonna be district-wide, right?
No, it's not district-wide.
And they're not gonna do any reconciliation of Cedar Park's, the water that comes in and goes out, and they subtract how they come up with the numbers. They're just,
No, they're using ultrasonic,
Okay.
equipment to
These are
actually
the
try
places that
to
they've checked so
hear
far?
the water. They're going to inspect 8,000 linear feet
okay.
of your water mains. And that's approximately 300 water meters within the area of the inspection that they've outlined.
I lost the map.
I lost the map, there it is.
Okay, and you want us to approve of,
It's a quote for $2,950 to have them come out, to contract them to come out,
Yeah, I agree.
to try to find this leak.
okay. I'll make a motion, well,
We'll do them separate,
Yeah,
I
we'll do
guess.
them separate.
And that's all I have for your consideration,
Okay.
if the others
You
are.
want to make a motion for that while we're talking about?
yeah, I'll make a motion that we accept, what's the name of the company?
It's NRW Consulting,
NRW Consulting for how much?
$2,950.
$2,950 to do leak detection work. Give me an area,
It's 8,000 linear feet
8,000 linear feet.
within the district. And then the low quote for the holiday lights was from Four Seasons Landscape for $6,340.
And then what was it for just putting in the electricity, not for the lights?
That was their quote, was just for M&C Electric for putting in the receptacles. Oh, do you have that?
Yeah.
Here, I think I do.
What it did subtract
They,
because their biggest expense is just the trenching from,
of
find
the
the
electrical
electrical
over
source.
to that,
Yeah.
they didn't break out the receptacles
Let's bring
versus
it.
the lights.
Can you bring that back up for next month, please?
Sure.
Correct? Is that fine?
Yeah,
So
that's fine.
The two action items are the Christmas lights for Four Seasons Landscape and the NRW Consulting Services. So
Yes.
those are on the table.
Right.
Just 6.
And I've got a motion from Chris for the consulting
And for the,
and for the lights?
right,
Okay, so one motion, okay.
I'll
Any
second.
discussion?
I'll second.
You'll second it?
Carol seconded it.
All in favor?
Thank you.
You're welcome. Anything else?
That concludes my report.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, let's make sure we got it all on here.
Item one.
Parks, we just did, including discussion needed repairs. We're working on still the bid that we have on that, correct? Carol? And the parks repairs? Are we good moving forward?
Yes.
Okay, and that's all that we had.
What was approved last month, correct?
Right.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah, I just
I
mentioned.
see it on here, I'm like,
That it was still in progress.
I don't think anybody else has any other, does anybody have something on their committee that they
I
need to
do.
talk about?
I do.
Go
I
for
want to
it.
respond to Mr. Morrow, who has, did an original September email and then a follow-up in October. I want to respond that we reviewed his emails and we're getting bids to redo and manage our website. At this date, we want to report that our attorney has advised us to delete all current resolutions and orders on the website and to operate under Texas statutory rules and regulations, orders as promulgated by TCQ. We should have this completed by 12/31/25.
Great.
Nope, that's all I got.
Okay. Old business, approved memorandum of understanding related to stage management between Lake White Oaks Homeowners Association and the district. We are going to try again to meet with them. This board showed up for a meeting a couple months ago. The Lake White Oaks was not there. They had PAMCO there, but the board direct people weren't there. So we're gonna try again in December and do that again. So hopefully we'll be able to discuss that again in January. Attorney's report.
I do not have anything. I'll just to kind of echo Chris's point, I'll clarify regarding the information committee. the district has a website, which you all have probably seen before, but it has years worth of documents on there. Documents that are both required to be online, like audits and budget and tax information, how to contact, your consultants, etc. But also years worth of various resolutions and orders that were adopted by the board to govern the board. And there are some resolutions and documents that apply to directors who are no longer on the board. So when people do look onto the website, they see these documents and it gets confusing because they reach out and say, well, what is this? You're not following this. This conflicts with this. So in order to clean up the district website, one, MUDs are governed, and I'm going to be as brief as I can, MUDs are governed by the Texas Water Code, the Local Government Code. There are rules and regulations, statutory laws in place that govern what boards can do, what they cannot do, what a MUD's function is, etc. Those are in place. That's state law. That's codified. So anything beyond that, like if, for example, the hypothetical I always use is if the board comes in and says, we want to make sure that everyone who comes into our meeting, all the directors wear a blue shirt on the meeting. There's no state law that can enforce that. No one's going to care about that. That's kind of what we call window dressing. That's something where if a board wants to enforce it amongst their own board members, they're welcome to. But if they don't, the state isn't going to, the TCEQ or the sheriff's office, they're not going to come and say the resolution you adopted isn't being enforced. There's no state law that applies to that. So there are a lot of documents online that various boards and various consultants, before this year, have drafted that simply either don't apply or conflict. And so the idea is to go through and to repeal a lot of those, to clarify and kind of do a clean slate start over with the district, to make it easier for residents to follow along with the board. That's my 75-second spiel.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, what do we got?
12.
Number 12, I don't think we're going into anything tonight. 13, actions related to discussion. We don't have anything for that. Such other matters as may come before the board, including a discussion about items to be included in the next agenda. I am going to ask that we take a vote tonight. It is a holiday month. If we could move the meeting poll to the 10th instead of the 17th. And how does that work for you guys?
Yeah.
Communicate with our bookkeeper, sure. To get everything.
Is Lisa on?
Yeah, that's the press.
Is Lisa on? Can you ask her if that'll work for her?
Renee or Lisa, are y'all available on December 10th in the evening if they move the board meeting? Jacob, same for you probably.
Well, we'll just potentially make the January meeting.
I'm available on the 10th.
Okay.
Thank you,
Now
Jacob.
we just gotta make sure with
Yeah.
accounting.
So we'll
Accounting
amend-
says yes?
Hasn't, yes, that's good.
Good.
It is? Perfect.
Good.
So Cole, if you're good with that, we'll move the meeting to the 10th.
that should work.
And go ahead and get that on the web right now.
Yeah, I'd say you could put a little notice on the district's website, just saying December meeting is moved to December 10th.
Reese, can you put that on there tomorrow morning? On the website, that it's gonna be moved to the 10th? Sure. Thank you very much.
So what I'm gonna do is, as you all know, the agendas have to be posted 3 business days in advance. Kind of makes it a little bit tighter. I'm gonna send the agenda out like I did this past time, about a week in advance. So if you all have any comments or additional items, you need to let me know, because I'm gonna have a firm cutoff at the Wednesday before the meeting.
That's fine.
All right, thanks.
Okay. Oh, we can't go anywhere, well,
I make a
no, we
motion.
don't have checks to sign, so.
Right.
No, those are gonna be
Okay.
couriered up here tomorrow morning, so you all can come one at a time and sign. You already approved
I make a motion to meeting adjourned.
All in favor?
You need a second?
I said
Carol,
second. I said second.
I would get the board to address something, like I said, the fire, there was nothing sent to be done about it. I sent a letter to, gentleman in the dealer, about everything, and he got, never got responded to by him. So, and I'm still, I think, I don't know how somebody can just raise my rates 35%, or 30%, or whatever it went up. Well, even on negotiations with the city. Well, then,
The last one.
No. No, Infomart has not been adhering to the rate order. Infomart did increase the rates, they handle billing.
Never addressed at a board meeting.
Yes.
Mr. Halbert. Mr. Halbert.
This is a
I'll have my husband call you, he's on the bill. Brought it to the board.
okay, what I want to do.
No,
checking to see if I've already.
Yeah.
Yes, he did. Grifters.
It's accurate.
Grifters, I love that word.
We got you.
You know what? It works well. It works well.
It's on video. We're going for fire for over a year. David found that and brought it to the board. Yes. David, so was she. So was she.
And you know who's responsible for the bills? They are. You know who's supposed to adjust the rate order? They are. You know what they get paid? $54,000 a month to get it right. I'm glad I have a second one on you, because I only had one, now I have two.
A lot of people buy so much.
WTCD, that's everything.
This is your first statement. The example that's supposed to kind of, there should be another page to this. That tell you all the numbers.
Okay.
So yes, this is.
We'll bring it to the next meeting. Thank you, good night. Thank you.
That's very correct.
You know,
It's been paid now. So that's like this looks funny, exactly the same.
We have
October as last
moving the fire charge
The same.
from the tax base.
Well,
And then
that will almost,
the same charge.
well,
So we're
think
getting,
about
we just
this
use
is
lower on your tax
But we
base.
don't run the,
the base on at all.
because taxes get up, then I don't. It's just what I've been saying.
we don't do it.
From